In today's video, we're going to be talking about March of the Machine Aftermath, which is a first-of-its-kind standard mini set, for lack of a better term, that is coming out in just a couple weeks, and it's differently structured in a lot of ways. So without further ado, let's jump into the video and take a look. Alright guys, thanks so much for being here. If you do enjoy the video, please hit the like button and subscribe. Click the bell icon if you want to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. I try to upload shorts consistently and do a few of these weekly videos. And we've been doing the Magic Standard series, and I'm taking a break from that today just to talk about March of the Machine Aftermath, although it is definitely still applicable to Standard for reasons I will explain. March of the Machine just came out on April 21st, and by all accounts is a pretty solid set. It's got some decent value, it's got some serialized chase cards for those who are into that sort of thing, and it's got some good reprints as well. Overall, a solid product, following up Phyrexia All Will Be One, which was a solid product too. However, I do not feel as confident about March of the Machine Aftermath, and I'm going to explain why. March of the Machine Aftermath has been covered already in a couple of other videos by people that are probably a lot more familiar with Magic products over the years than me, but it doesn't take a genius to look at this on the surface and see why it's a questionable product choice. First of all, it is coming out almost immediately after the first one, although that is by design, and it is intended to be story-focused. Still, it's not really giving anyone a chance to even really get March of the Machine and open stuff up and playtest stuff, see what works, without, having to worry about jumping right into the next thing, but, that's just sort of the way it works nowadays. Typically, it's about 3 months between standard sets, and after this, we will have a bit until the next one, but, I digress. March of the Machine is different because it is a 50-card set in total. That is including new cards and reprints, although I believe there is only one actual reprint card in the set, and it does happen to be a good one. This set is going to have 2 types of boosters. We've got Epilogue boosters and we've got Collector boosters. Now, Epilogue boosters are a new type of booster, and if you've had trouble following Magic's excessive amount of booster variants up to this point, you're probably not too thrilled about them. But Epilogue boosters are 5-card booster packs, and they're going to have 1 to 3 rares, and basically the rest are going to be uncommons. And because the set is so small, you're not going to have all that much diversity. Now, the set's technically not even started its spoiler season yet, but a YouTuber accidentally got a couple of boxes of March of the Machine collector boosters in from the Aftermath set, posted a few videos. They were actually given a cease and desist, essentially, by Wizards, who sent some, strong-arm security guards to their place to take those back, but we did get full leaks for the set because of those openings, so all 50 cards have been revealed, and I gotta say, they're really not all that great. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some cards in the set that are really good, and I do think some of them are going to be solid, especially in Commander. But for a standard set, there aren't that many cards that are going to do much in Standard, at least not on the surface. One of the best cards in the set, in my opinion, is Karn Legacy Reforged, which we did talk about in a short earlier this week, but its power and toughness are each equal to the greatest mana value among artifacts you control, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you add a colorless mana for each artifact you control. This mana can't be spent to cast non-artifact spells, meaning you're basically limited to artifact spells or activating abilities, and then until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. So this Karn, of course, lore-wise, is no longer a Planeswalker because he lost his spark after the war, but it's a really solid card, and I definitely think it's got potential in Standard, but it also is a card that I think is going to have a lot of application in other formats. The thing is, so many of these creatures in this set are legendary creatures that appear to be geared towards Commander, which is fine, but this is a standard set. One of the biggest problems I have with this set as a whole, of course, is that while the packs are going to have 5 cards for Epilogue boosters and 6 cards for Collector boosters respectively, the prices are not going to change. Now, Magic does not have an MSRP, so it's not like a suggested retail price, but people are typically able to figure out a going rate based on the cost and what the average selling price is online. I'm not a finance expert by any stretch of the imagination, but it's pretty clear to see that, based on the information we have, they are not looking at these being cheaper. It looks like it's going to be right around 3 and change for an Epilogue booster, which is about the same price as a draft booster, and right around 20 for a collector booster. But the difference with collector boosters from other sets is that you typically get 15 cards, you get a good amount of foils, and you have a chance at pulling some big hitter stuff. It's technically still a lottery, but at least there's more cards in the pack to make you feel like you're getting more bang for your buck. I've actually been the type of person who believes collector boosters are pretty solid in terms of buying packs. I think singles are almost always the way to go, but if you're just okay with the risks and want to crack some packs open, I think collector boosters typically, if you're paying a reasonable price for them, are solid, but I can't possibly recommend that in this set. Again, imagine paying $20 for 6 cards, and, you know, unless you get some kind of crazy hit, and as far as we can tell, I don't know that there's going to be any serialized cards in this set. The person who opened the 3 boxes on YouTube did not pull any, but that doesn't mean they won't exist. It does seem like there are different variants of some of the cards here with like alternate showcase frames and stuff kind of playing on what March of the Machine did. So at least you're not pulling like identical versions of the same cards, but that's kind of a, you know, grasping for reasons to say, oh, this could be really solid or there could be stuff going on here. Overall, it's just a really, really underwhelming product that is coming out extremely soon and again is just not priced reasonably at all in my opinion. Looking at a couple of other cards in here that actually seem decent from a standard perspective, I think Reckless Handling is definitely neat. This is a sorcery that costs 1 and a red and says search your library for an artifact card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Shuffle, then discard a card at random. If an artifact is discarded this way, deal 2 damage to each opponent. So it's definitely not a terrible card. It's like a weird combination of like Enlightened Tutor and Gamble. It's definitely one of those cards I could probably see playing in an artifact deck in Commander just to be able to get to your combo pieces faster. Obviously, Gamble is better, but you can't play 2 Gamble, so this is decent enough. You know, you have ability to get access to a lot of artifacts, and the odds may be in your favor depending on when you're playing it. But again, it's just an uncommon in the set, and it's not like it's this crazy, like, super, you know, game-changing card or anything. Training Grounds is a reprint in the set that I do think is really good. This was a very expensive card prior to this, almost like 25-30 bucks at the cheapest, and it's going to be standard legal with the reprint, so a lot of players for various formats will be happy to see a more accessible version of this. Although I do have to question, will it even be more accessible when you take into consideration the fact that, like, it's not exactly going to be a super widely open set, I don't think, with the way that these are kind of structured. Another card I think might actually be decent in terms of standard is Filter Out. That is 1 and 2 blue. It is an instant, and it's just return all non-creature, non-land permanents to their owner's hands. Obviously, there are some decks this could be really useful against, so it's at least a neat option for blue, but it's just kind of underwhelming in terms of the power, and obviously you're not drafting this set. It's not designed to be drafted, so when you're really looking at these cards, you kind of have to assume, you know, they're either going to be utilized in standard, or they're just, you know, going to be a strictly Commander format, in which case I wonder why even bother with this product in the first place. There are other cards like Kiora, Sovereign of the Deep, and Niv Mizzet Supreme, both of which are awesome cards for Commander. But again, this is a standard set, and it just doesn't really feel like it does all that much at all for the format. So pricing being the same for less cards, the actual card pool being less, and most of the cards being relatively underwhelming in terms of their impact, just kind of adds up together for a set that doesn't have me all that excited at all. That's not to say there aren't any good cards in the set, because there definitely are some that are solid, but looking at it as a whole compared to the past couple of standard sets before it, I'd be very surprised if more than a handful of cards from the set did anything super relevant in the standard metagame. What do you guys think of March of the Machine Aftermath? Let me know in the comments down below if you've seen, you know, just sort of some of the reveals. I was trying to be cautious not to put too many in this video, just because I don't know that Wizards is too thrilled about that information being out there, and I don't think that they're, like, you know, excessively going after. I don't think there's really any recourse for channels that are talking about the stuff that put it out there, but you never know. Obviously, you know, we'll cover a lot more of it as we go along with shorts and other things when the official spoiler season start and there's better images, but I just wanted to touch on this as a whole. You know, the set is going to be the same price with way less cards and just not that many cards that are going to be super interesting. I would say out of the 50 cards, maybe like 10 to 12 have like some competitive viability, and the others are just going to be like more casual, and that's just kind of disappointing for a product that, like, I guess had potential to at least, you know, they could have at least put some good reprints in there or done some alternate stuff, and it just doesn't look like we've gotten it. I don't even know if serialized cards would honestly fix this, but I guess we'll have to see whether or not there are any as we go forward. Thank you guys for checking out the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.